Facebook! Only joking, we're not talking about Facebook. Free games! Hello and welcome to the VR Cauldron. I'm Al and today we're talking about first-person shooters on the Quest. More specifically, my top 6 free first-person shooters on the Quest. That's right, if you want to play any of the games I mentioned today, you won't have to pay a single unit of currency appropriate to your geographical location. So I settled on a few rules for this. The first obvious rule is that you had to be able to play them without paying any money and without piracy.
Not sure I deserve that.
They had to have full locomotion, so no games where you stand in one spot, and you had to have access to guns, so no bow and arrow shooters. So let's not waste any time, but don't forget, if you love VR, hit that subscribe button so you know when I post something new. Right, in we go. In at number 6, we have Physics Playground, which is basically a streamlined version of Boneworks for the Quest. Even the dev calls it a tech demo at best, but people have spent hours in the game just messing about. You spawn into what basically looks like a kid's soft play jungle gym, but unlike kids' play areas, there's a table in front of you that has a small assortment of extremely dangerous weapons. And we wouldn't want those in a soft play, would we? No, not even for the parents that let their kids run around spitting everywhere and get all angry when you politely bring it to their attention. I'm just letting you know that your boys are spitting on the other kids. Fuck off! Anyway, back to the playground. There's no story or multiplayer, it's just you versus the environment and either dummies that want to kill you or dummies that stand around waiting for you to hit them. It's very basic, but in the absence of your wave-based fighting games such as Blade and Sorcery, and of course Boneworks on the Quest, this is really your next best thing. It's available through SideQuest, as are most of the games on this list. Full instructions on how to use SideQuest are below in the description. Okay, so number 5 is Dr. Beef, who isn't actually a game at all, nor is he a doctor that looks after cows. He is someone who makes VR mods of classic games. If we're to look at review scores of all of the games mentioned in this list, then the Dr. Beef games are technically the best. He's done Doom, Quake, Quake 2, Half-Life, known as Lambda 1 VR, and Return to Castle Wolfenstein, all of which got stellar reviews when they were originally released between 1993 and 2001. What Dr. Beef has done with these games is very impressive. However, they only half qualify for this list, since to play them in full, you do need to own the original games and copy game files from your computer onto your Quest. I'm including them on this list because not only are the originals extremely cheap to obtain now, the newest game, Return to Castle Wolfenstein, is $3.99 on Steam, but even without those game files, you'll still be able to play demos of the full games in VR. And added together, you get more playtime than you do with many VR titles that you have to pay for. My personal favourites in VR are Half-Life and Return to Castle Wolfenstein, which almost feel like they were made from the ground up for VR. I find the pre-Half-Life games feel a bit too dated to make the transition to VR an enjoyable experience for me. Having said that, you might love it. Return to Castle Wolfenstein is particularly impressive, especially with the improved textures mod. With that, it becomes probably the most graphically impressive game on this list. Even better than full-price Quest games like Onward, which in a previous video I decided would have been considered a cutting-edge pancake game in 2003. But since Castle Wolfenstein was released in 2001, I am forced to reconsider. They're all single-player only and the mods are available on SideQuest. So number 4 is one of the closest things to the Oasis that we have in VR right now. Well, that is if everyone had to look like Nintendo Wii Miis. But despite the cartoony graphics, Rec Room is home to some of the most enjoyable FPS experiences in VR, let alone on the Quest. We have Capture the Flag, which is done using paintball guns, which despite the lack of explosive gun sounds, are extremely satisfying to use. You can pick up paintball shotguns and sniper rifles, and you can dual wield John Woo style. There's even a battle royale mode of it called Rec Royale. Rec Room also gives us laser tag, which is basically a team deathmatch in a futuristic setting. Again, there are different weapons and there are also robots in each team that you need to take out before they shoot you. If you like the futuristic style of gameplay in Rec Room's laser tag but would prefer a co-op experience, then maybe the Rise of Jumbotron is for you. Yet we haven't moved on yet. This is still Rec Room. You can try this mode with a friend or on your own. Together with all the other experiences in the game, it's fair to say that Rec Room is one of the first things you should download for your Quest. That is if your ears can withstand lots of high-pitched noises. Right, with number 3, we're moving on to more serious territory with Pavlov Shack. Okay, maybe we're not quite there yet, but if you love Counterstrike, then here we have Counterstrike in VR. There's a ton of realistic weapons, and if you download the latest version that isn't available on SideQuest, then you get access to custom maps. I'll put instructions to download that version down below. It really is a better version than the one on SideQuest, but unfortunately it's harder to find a server to play on, since the older version on SideQuest is both easier to install and still works. The SideQuest version does still have the Kill House, zombie mode, and the usual maps, with the usual modes including Trouble in Terrorist Town. And at number 2, although it's probably joint number 2 with Pavlov Shack, we have Contractors. Like Pavlov, Contractors aims to be a realistic looking military shooter, but it's probably more like Call of Duty than Counterstrike. The gun models in this game look fantastic, and out of this and Pavlov, I find the weapon handling to be a lot more satisfying in this game. Unfortunately, or maybe fortunately for you, there's no Trouble in Terrorist Town, and all modes are your standard multiplayer fare. Now this game on SideQuest is called Contractors Demo, but it's pretty much a full game. Let's just say it doesn't seem any more incomplete than Pavlov Shack. One thing Contractors has over Pavlov Shack is a single player bots mode if you want to get in some practice before facing off against humans. Both Pavlov and Contractors have no story mode, and apart from the tutorial area, Contractors is very much a multiplayer experience, but it's damn fun. And now it's time to announce my favourite free first-person shooter on the Quest. But first, it's worth noting that most of the games on SideQuest are in a pre-release state, meaning there can be bugs and just a general air of not quite finishedness. Our last game is no exception to that, and is considered to currently be in an alpha state. That's the one before beta, remember, so according to the devs, it's quite a way from getting a full release. However, it's already been downloaded 50,000 times and has almost a perfect review score. I am, of course, talking about Hyperdash. And if you haven't heard of it yet, then you are in for a treat. It's a futuristic arena shooter with classic modes such as free-for-all deathmatch, domination, capture point, and the Overwatch style payload. Up to 10 players can play on a map, and I've never had a problem getting a game, and despite the alpha tag, it's felt like a complete game for some time. In fact, it just keeps on getting better. The menu is slick, the music is very sci-fi atmospheric, I've never noticed any graphical glitches, and the gameplay is fast, furious, and extremely consistent. It's got smooth locomotion, but the usual teleport style locomotion is actually incorporated as part of the game mechanics as the titular Hyperdash. And there's nothing more satisfying than hyperdashing behind a team on the payload and taking them all out. You can pick up loads of different weapons around the map, including automatic pistols, a shotgun, a sniper pistol, and a rocket launcher. There are also shields, health, and mobility power-ups that allow you to dash more often. Each level has a monorail throughout which you can slide on and allows another fast mode of transportation around the map, so you can get back into the action quicker. Just be careful if you decide to sprint on it, because sprinting does use up your hyperdash and you might end up kamikazing into the payload. This game is also available on PC VR headsets and is crossplay, and I honestly can't tell the difference between the Quest and PC versions. I had a really good time doing crossplay multiplayer in my living room the other night with my cousin on the Rift and me on the Quest, and he absolutely loved it too. Hi Rick! And don't worry, it was thoroughly disinfected. It's on SideQuest, but if you want to get it for PC VR, there's a link down below. If the link is out of date, then get onto the Hyperdash Discord server and there'll be an updated link there. Hyperdash will be a paid title when it's released, but the devs are still taking in player feedback and making it even better. So if you want to play for free, get in while you still can. It really is worth it. In fact, this wasn't even meant to be a review, but I'm just going to go ahead and give it a VRC Gold Award. That's a 9 out of 10. Only losing the point because although there is a progression system, it could probably be fleshed out a little more. But from a gameplay only point of view, it's nigh on perfect. And when it gets a full release, it's probably got a very good chance of getting a full 10 out of 10 from me. So, there were 6 free first-person shooters for the Oculus Quest. If you enjoyed that video, don't forget to hit the like button, and if you want to see more, feel free to subscribe. Let me know of any other free experiences you've enjoyed in the comments, or if there's any free FPSs you think I've missed, let me know that too. If you want any help doing anything, just leave a comment and we'll try and help you out. So, I've been Al, and you've been watching the VR Cauldron. Take care of yourselves, and I hope to see you next time. See ya! When I'm upside down, I can't see heaven. Am I under your protection spell? Just don't hang